question of the day. What's your favorite mechanic that really truly grasps the thing it's representing? Something small, for instance, maybe even in the background. Or it could be the foreground. For instance, one of my favorites, and this one could be your answer too. Let me know in the comments below what your answers are. Mountains of Madness is a great game that does this. It takes the idea of you're going insane, so even though it's a kind of heavier party game, you have to do certain things while trying to solve the task. You might be use one arm, you might not be able to look at people, or might not be able to talk unless you're holding your hands above your head, or things like that. Silly little things, but the point is, it really grasps the idea of madness, right? Today, we're talking about a game that does something in its mechanics that really represents what it's trying to show, and that would be Solenia, right here from Pro Games. Let's take a look right now what Solenia is, how it plays, what kind of a game it is, and what I'm talking about as far as representing that thing right now. What could be in here? This wonderful, beautiful imagery here. What is this game about, right? Let's find out. Much better. Look at this. Gorgeous art here, right? From dusk to dawn, or dawn to dusk. You can set it up this way as long as you have the dusk and then nighttime, or dawn and daytime, followed by 3 of these. It's just a simple setup for the board itself. But these tiles are neat because they will move and they will shift. Everyone will also get a set of cards in their color. And notice this. Art. Love it. Look at this art. Everybody's got hands for the different types of people driving these airships. So this one's got kind of creepy looking hands. This one's straight up robotic. Or no, this one's like 1980s finger gloves type hands. And then obviously here is just straight up, hey, I'm driving an airship hands. But really cool opportunities there to show off and do trades art. But you'll notice also, look at that, donut cards, right? There's a reason for that, which we'll talk about here in just a second. Everybody also gets an airship. This airship has 2 sides. There's one that is a customizable side, which allows you to do some things with the variants as far as making it more your own, as well as the side that's just pretty generic, straightforward, like normal. There are these slots up here. These are cargo slots. These are cargo slots, but these are reward slots. So when you end up picking up some of these nighttime rewards, they just slot in right there. So it's nice to show that off, how they fit so well. You can only hold as much cargo as these slots allow, but you can also use that cargo in order to purchase these. So for instance, this would need 2 wheat and 1 stone, or 2 food and a stone. When you do that, slot it in here. You get the benefit listed right above it. And you do that until the game is over. First person to have the most, or the person who has the most points obviously wins. But what you do on your turn, you're going to play one of your cards. So you'll have 3 cards in your hand, the rest you'll draw from. The game ends when everyone has played all 16 of their cards. Now you'll notice they have 0s, 1s, and 2s on them. If you were to play a 0 card, for instance, on anywhere on the board, your airship, the airship that's shared, will move 1 space forward. And we'll talk about what happens when you do that. But otherwise, let's just say I play this number 2 card. There's an adjacency rule. Each card has to be placed 1 space away from the airship, or 1 space away from a card you've already placed. So if you place a card here, you could then place it here, 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 because of the adjacency rule. Now, you could also do what's called lengthening the voyage, which means if you really need to place here, but you don't have a way to, you could pay a good to skip that space, essentially. Now, the different spaces are wood, stone, food, and then cities, which is where you go to deliver these goods and get these contract cards, and water, of course. The daytime ones and the nighttime ones are slightly different for what their needs are. So if I play a 2 wheat here, notice how it just covers that up pretty nicely, right? It looks gorgeous. You see that this is wheat inside of here. I get 2 wheat resources, which are basically just wooden tokens over here. And they're nice wooden tokens. 2 of those resources, right? Well, then someone else will play their turn, then I'll play again. Now let's just say I play this 0, for instance. Now, let's say I play the 0 here, but there were already some cards out here on these spaces, okay? When you move the airship from playing a 0, this goes here. All these cards will then immediately do their power. So this one will give you a water. This one will give you a wood. This board part becomes expelled, and it goes up to the front, flips over, because again, it makes it look like you're traversing the sky throughout the day, and it gets later in the day, right? So it's a nice little mechanic of scrolling through the days and nights. So anyway, that'll happen every single time someone plays a 0. One of these will come off. All of these will score. They're listed in the back of the instructions what they do. If you were to play a card onto this space here, you'll gain 2 gold stars, which are points at the end of the game, plus you'll get to take one of these actions here. When I say actions, you'll get to make one of these deliveries. So you'll gain, you'll spend the 3 stone, the 1 water, and the wood. You'll slot this in at the end of the game. You'll have 9 points there. So that's how the game's played. Once everybody plays all their 16 cards, you score points. Whoever wins has the most points. So that's it. That's how Solenia plays. Now, first of all, let's talk about things we like about this game. One is art. Obviously, the art in this game is by Vincent Dutrait, so you know that's a selling point. But I almost wonder what the pitch meetings were like. We're like, no, Vincent, we don't want you to do faces. We want you to do backs of people / aliens' hands. Because that's what it is. Basically, he does a lot of really cool, like, first-person view of you holding the cockpit. Now, the airships are all different. The islands are cool. You know, those cool-shaped tiles are neat. The way they look, even the sky islands and the night islands, they all look cool. The airships look good. Plus, those cards with the holes in the middle. Does it have to be that case? No, but it's a neat way to represent it. I mean, you could have just had the card go onto a space on the board, and there will be a little thing below it. But the hole in the cards is a really neat thing because you still have access to what's on the card, which you'll need to know for when things rotate off the board, as well as you know what's under the card, which is really cool. I think that's just a very pretty way to do things. Now, as far as gameplay, it's pretty basic. You're getting resources in order to pay resources to get goals and things like that. But here's what I do like about the game quite a bit is the thematic way it handles moving literally physically across space, but also across time at the same time. Not like in a 4D thing, but like literally you're moving across the night sky to the day sky. So it takes a long time. So as each round progresses, or as someone moves one of those tiles to the front, well, you flip it over to its day side or to its dawn side. And if it's from the nighttime, or if it's from the daytime, you flip it to the night to where it actually looks like an old school side-scrolling Super Nintendo cutscene almost, in the sense that it's just you're constantly scrolling this board. And I think that was really cool the way it does like that. Obviously it's top down, but to me it looked like a side scroll thing. And that's a cool way to really grasp the idea that you're moving through time, you're also moving through space, but it also serves a mechanical purpose of shifting up the board. And I think that's really cool. So really neat idea there, really neat concept. Now, as far as playing the game, as far as that sort of stuff, it's a pretty, straightforward, get resources, get goals sort of thing. So I will say that the variants of having your own kind of unique airships really do add a lot to it. So if you like quick, not super simple, there's some strategy involved, but if you like some quick action selection, really hand management, resource management game, then Solenia is definitely a win for you. It's a really pretty game. It's got a lot of fun mechanics. But if you're not into the lighter side, or if it's kind of you're not a big fan of doing the same thing kind of over and over in a sense to where there's not a whole ton of difference in what you're doing, then maybe this is a pass for you. But that's Solenia from Pearl Games. I'm Bryan Drake here on the Dice Tower. Thank you for watching. Make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram at @TheLatestRetro. And until next time, we'll see.
Thanks so much for watching the Dice Tower videos. Find more great videos and reviews, as well as our top-rated audio podcast at Dicetower.com. You can also find other great shows at DicetowerNetwork.com. I'm Eric Summerer, and you've been watching the Dice Tower. The Dice Tower